Before we begin, I need you to check something. Look around your room. Is every light still on? Good. Because night shift stories hit different when you're alone. And when the lights begin to flicker. Tonight we're diving into the strange hours. The hours when buildings breathe. Cameras lie. And the quiet isn't just silence. It's something listening. If you're ready, if you click this intentionally, then welcome to Night Shift Horror Stories. The night shift has a way of peeling things back, not just the silence, but the thin layer of reality that keeps your mind from drifting into places it shouldn't. That was something he learned slowly, night by night, inside the cavern-sized warehouse off Route 19, where the lights buzzed like dying insects and the concrete always felt colder than it should. Every shift began the same: clock in, scan the aisles, pretend the building wasn't too big for one person. But around 2 a.m., the air always changed. It became heavier, like the building exhaled after holding its breath all day. That was when he first noticed it, a single pallet sitting in the wrong aisle. Just a small mistake. Something he could have done yesterday. Except, he didn't. He brushed it off as fatigue. But then it kept happening. A stack of boxes he'd moved hours earlier appeared back in their original place. A locked door was suddenly cracked open. A rolling ladder he always left at the far wall now waited in the center aisle, perfectly centered, like someone positioned it with intention. He told himself it was forgetfulness, night shift brain fog. But the warehouse felt like it was watching the excuse crumble inside his head. Then the patterns began. Whenever he corrected something, straightened a shelf, swept a dusty patch, repositioned a crate, he'd come back minutes later to find it undone but mirrored. If a broom leaned left before, now it leaned right. If a pallet faced north, now it quietly faced south. Not random. Precise. Like the building wasn't fighting him. It was copying him. The cameras didn't help. If anything, they made things worse. Frame by frame, they showed him walking aisles he didn't remember entering, performing tasks he didn't recall doing. Sometimes the footage looped exactly, repeating a moment that never happened twice. Other times the timestamp skipped entire minutes, as if the night edited itself. He knew something was wrong the night he found the footprints. His own, size and tread identical, but facing the opposite direction. Like someone had stood exactly where he stood, moved exactly how he moved, but backwards, tracing his routine in reverse. He felt the warehouse grow colder as he followed them. Every aisle felt tighter. Every overhead light hummed louder. And at the center of the building, the footprints simply stopped. At a point where there was nothing to look at. Except a camera mounted high above. He checked that camera's earliest saved file. The footage almost made him drop his phone. It showed him entering the warehouse hours before he arrived. Same clothes, same walk, same tired posture. But this version stayed ahead of him, gliding through aisles like he knew exactly where the real him would go. And every few minutes the other version paused, turning slowly toward the camera. Locking eyes with it. Expression blank. Face emotionless. A stillness too perfect, too controlled, too intentional. Like he wasn't waiting for his shift. He was waiting for him. After that, the nights blurred. Every time he moved, he felt a millisecond delay in the world around him, as if the building needed a moment to copy. A shelf straightened by his hand became crooked somewhere else. A door he shut quietly slammed shut in another hallway. His reflection in shiny metal surfaces lagged a half-beat behind. One night he didn't clock out. The next morning, his supervisor entered the warehouse and found everything perfectly aligned, unnaturally so. Every box squared. Every aisle symmetrical. Every tool positioned like a mirror image of itself. The cameras showed only one thing. Him, or something shaped like him, walking the aisles in an endless loop. Working the shift with mechanical precision. Never leaving. Never resting. Waiting for the next night. To copy someone new. He'd only been at the job 3 weeks when he noticed the strange thing about the night shift. The building didn't feel abandoned. It felt rehearsed. Like it had lived through thousands of nights before him, and he had simply stepped into its repeating memory. He worked the overnight sanitation shift at an old pharmaceutical research facility, massive, overbuilt, and full of rooms no one used anymore. Long hallways with numbers that skipped. Locked offices with frosted glass. Motors humming behind walls that should have been silent. He didn't think much of it until the first night he heard the typing. A steady rhythm of keyboard clicks coming from an office that had been closed for years. When he opened the door, the room was dark. But the computer monitor was glowing. Not displaying anything. Just glowing. Like it had been turned on seconds before he arrived. He unplugged it. The glow stayed for a few more seconds before fading out, as if the screen needed time to realize it was disconnected. He left quickly and decided not to think about it. But the night shift never lets you ignore things. The next time it happened was worse. As he dragged his mop bucket down the hallway, he saw lights spilling out from beneath the conference room door. Not white light. Blue, cold, hospital bright blue. He opened the door just a crack. Inside, the projector was running, displaying a looping video on the wall. Something grainy. Something old. It took him a moment to understand what he was seeing. A man in a janitor uniform walking the very same hallway he was standing in. The same bucket. The same mop. The same shaky rolling motion of the wheels. The video's timestamp read, 1998. The building was showing him someone else's night shift, someone who wasn't supposed to exist anymore. The next night, more things changed. Doors he cleaned swung open behind him without sound. Clipboard papers shuffled while he wasn't looking. Warning lights flickered like they were trying to signal something. His mop water darkened faster than it should have, like the hallways were leaking their memories into it. But it wasn't until he found the logbook that everything made sense. Or should have. He found it sitting on a metal table in a supply closet. A thick binder with yellowed pages, covered in dust except for the spot where someone had recently touched it. He flipped through the entries. Same job. Same shift. Same responsibilities. Different names. But one section made his chest tighten. Shift completion. Do not fail. Below that, page after page filled with handwriting that didn't match the earlier entries. Frantic scrawls. Asterisk. I hear myself down the hallway. Asterisk. Asterisk. The building plays memories on the walls. Asterisk. Asterisk. They don't want me to leave. Asterisk. The final entry read. Asterisk. If you see this, they're already copying you too. Asterisk. He slammed the book shut. But the sound didn't echo. It repeated, faintly, from the opposite end of the hallway. Like something else closed the book at the exact same time. A half-second later, he followed the echo. His bucket wheels rattled across the tiles like bones being shaken in a cup. At the end of the hallway, a door slowly opened on its own. Cold blue light spilled out. Inside, a projector ran again, but this time, it wasn't showing the janitor from 1998. It was showing him. From tonight. From minutes ago. From angles no camera should have been able to capture. The footage showed him reaching for the door. Just as he was now reaching for the door. A perfect loop. Not past. Not future. But the facility's memory copying itself in real time. He dropped the mop. The screen flickered. And then the footage shifted. Showing him walking forward. Even though he wasn't moving. Showing him entering the room. Even though he was still standing outside. Showing him disappearing into the blue light. And not coming back. The facility wasn't haunted. It archived people. And tonight, it was archiving him too. The hospital's night shift was supposed to be quiet, but for Ethan, the silence felt wrong. Every corridor hummed with a low tremor, like the building was breathing on its own. At 3:07 a.m., the lights on the third floor flickered, once, twice, and then died completely. Ethan grabbed his flashlight and walked toward the ICU, though every instinct begged him not to. Halfway there, he heard it, a slow dragging sound, like bare feet sliding across linoleum. But when he swung his light around, no one was there. At the end of the hallway stood an empty wheelchair. It faced the wall, perfectly still. Ethan exhaled, until the chair slowly turned toward him, on its own. He froze. A patient file lay on the seat. As he reached for it, the hallway lights snapped back on. The wheelchair was now inches from him, though he hadn't heard it move. Inside the file was a single page. Patient transferred at 2 a.m., but the signature below was written in shaky handwriting. Ethan's own name. Except, he never signed it. Before he could react, the dragging footsteps returned, closer, heavier. Ethan backed away, but the ICU door behind him clicked open by itself. Cold air seeped out. And from the blackness, a voice whispered his name. Not from a patient, not from a person, but from something that only wakes during the night shift. If you survive the night shift, consider yourself lucky. Most people don't notice what watches them after midnight. Soft breath, subtle echo. If you want more stories like this, dark, atmospheric, and unsettling, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications, because the next night shift is already waiting for you.